In the dusty lands of ancient Mesopotamia, a name echoes through 4,000 years: Gilgamesh. He was the king of Uruk, a figure so powerful, so immense, that even the gods themselves feared him. But Gilgamesh was no mere mortal. The myth tells us that he was 2/3 god and 1/3 man. He was made to be perfect, but he ruled Uruk as a tyrant, oppressing his people with taxes and taking away their freedom. To curb his tyranny, the gods devised a plan. They would create a rival, a challenger with equal strength, to finally teach humility to the perfect king. From the primordial clay and water, the goddess Uruk forged Enkidu. He was a wild man covered in hair who ran with the gazelles and knew nothing of human civilization. Their first encounter was a battle that shook the foundations of Uruk. Gilgamesh and Enkidu fought for hours, testing every ounce of their strength in a wrestling match through the streets of the city. But something unexpected happened. Realizing their strength was perfectly matched, their rivalry turned into respect, and their battle into an unbreakable bond. With Enkidu as his brother and confidant, Gilgamesh found a purpose. They decided to forge their legend together, seeking glory in the most terrifying places imaginable. Their first challenge: the great cedar forest, guarded by the monstrous Humbaba. Humbaba was the terrifying guardian of the forest, a giant placed there by the god Enlil. The fight was brutal, a true test of their combined power. After defeating the monster, they committed an act of hubris by killing the bull of heaven, sent by the vengeful goddess Ishtar. The gods could not allow such a challenge. Though Gilgamesh was semi-divine, Enkidu was mortal. The gods decreed that one must die, and they chose Enkidu. Enkidu fell ill. Gilgamesh watched, heartbroken, as his friends suffered for 12 long days. The perfect king, who had faced monsters without fear, was now powerless before death. The death of Enkidu shattered Gilgamesh. He refused to bury his friend for a week, desperately hoping he would awaken. When signs of decomposition appeared, Gilgamesh fled Uruk, consumed by a single terrifying thought: I must not die. His journey became a desperate quest to find Utnapishtim, the only man who had survived the Great Flood and received eternal life from the gods. The path was impossible. Gilgamesh crossed mountains, faced scorpion men, and crossed the treacherous waters of death with the help of a boatman. Finally, he found Utnapishtim, who told him the story of the Great Flood and challenged Gilgamesh to stay awake for 7 days to earn immortality. Gilgamesh failed. Exhausted by grief and the journey, he fell asleep almost instantly. He had failed the test. Immortality was beyond his reach. Utnapishtim, compassionate, revealed one last secret: a thorny plant at the bottom of the sea that could restore his youth. Gilgamesh retrieved it successfully. He had won a second chance at life. On the journey back, while resting by a spring, a serpent smelled the plant and stole it, shedding its skin right after, thus obtaining the secret of eternal youth for all serpents. Gilgamesh realized the truth: he would never achieve immortality. Defeated, he returned to Uruk, no longer the arrogant tyrant, but a humbled king. Finally, he saw his true legacy, not the life he lived forever, but the magnificent city he had built and the story he left behind, the first great epic etched forever in clay.